I've now played two characters that have died in real life and been brought back as AI.
You can't kill Robbie off. You can't.
No, I just get killed all the time.
Hi, this is Nicki Sun with MovieWeb, and I'm so thrilled and terrified to be speaking AI with Simulant star Robbie Amell. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Oh, fantastic. You know, you stay booked and busy, and you play a wide array of roles. So I just have to ask, what draws you to a character such as Evan?
Well, I love sci-fi. I've done a lot of sci-fi. I should probably branch out, but I enjoy it. I've now produced sci-fi and starred in sci-fi. I enjoy watching sci-fi, but at the end of the day, it comes down to a few things. The script, I thought the script here was really interesting. I had a great call with April, our director, and her and I were on the same page about the character and the tone and, you know, the version of the movie that she wanted to make. The cast, getting to work opposite Simu Liu and Jordana Brewster and Sam Worthington. Also, selfishly, convenience. It's shot in Hamilton, and I live in Toronto with a 3-year-old, so I was able to go to work and come home and still see my family. So it kind of checked a lot of boxes for me. I like that the movie is polarizing, and people will have different thoughts and argue about decisions that are made and maybe the ending. And I just think that makes an interesting story.
What happened after the accident?
I know that this is hard to understand.
AI, generative AI, ChatGPT, all of this are buzzwords now, and I kind of just wanted to get from your perspective, would you ever want to be brought back as a sim?
Oh boy. Yes, but I don't want to know that I'm a sim. I just want, you know, I think that's when things go off the rails. I mean, it's hard to say, you know. I played the character who was brought back, so I'm sympathetic to his story, but I'm also sympathetic to Jordana's character, to Faye, because if I lost somebody, you know, that I loved, and I wasn't able to say goodbye, and I had the opportunity to just bring them back, I would probably do it in my grief, and I would probably regret it because it's not going to be the same person. But at the same time, I probably wouldn't be able to just pull the plug on them. So I found myself reading the story going, oh man, I really understand where Faye's coming from. And you know, when I spoke with April, I was like, how robotic should this guy be? And she's like, not at all. This is a human who finds out that he is not. And I was like, that's great. That I can do. I don't want to play a robot. I want to play a person.
Yeah, so you're talking about in real life, you wouldn't want to know, but when you were talking to director April, did she tell you your character's arc, or did you have to read it for yourself and go, oh my gosh, was that like a surprising moment for you?
Well, I read it first and then we spoke, but my first question was like, how should people know? Is this guy, can you tell that he's a robot? He was like, there will be things like where he can't open the door, where the audience will be like, that's weird. And he will kind of question it, but she's like, there are restraints and or restrictions that, you know, prevent him from really questioning that. So that's the only time you'll see these moments. She was like, other than that, this is a person. This is a robot that has all of Evan's memories. And if you want to call the brain, you know, a human brain, like the computer running your body, then this is the same thing. It's just a microchip instead of an actual brain. She was like, don't think of it as a robot. I was like, okay, I can handle that.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely played a character with a lot of heart, and I found myself watching and it's like rooting for the Sims and also rooting for humanity as always. But in playing a Sim, did you reflect on what makes you actually grateful to be human, just in real life?
Not so much, but I actually found myself thinking that the Sims were written in a way where they cared more about the things that people should care about. Love and time with one another and being happy. And the people in the movie are a little darker. And, you know, you see why, like the non-Sims in the movie are dealing with loss. And that's a very human emotion. So it's interesting, you know, you have both sides of it, but at times the Sims felt more human than the people. So I didn't really find myself thinking about it too much. You know, prior to this movie, I've done so much sci-fi that I find myself thinking about this stuff on a regular basis anyway. And like, I've now played 2 characters that have died in real life and been brought back as AI, or like AI versions of themselves. So it's kind of at home for me.
Yeah, you can't kill Robbie off. You can't.
No, I just get killed all the time. But I just find that like the easiest way for me to play a character is to just find the human aspects of it, even though they're not always human.
Yeah. Well, let's get into a little bit of fun. I mean, you are with a superstar cast. Can you walk us through some of the behind the scenes or some funny moments that audiences would love to know?
My first day of filming was Sam Worthington's last day, because we were in kind of 2 separate movies. And so without spoiling anything, once you see this, my scenes with Sam are all pretty intense. And that was all one day of filming of he and I. So I got thrown right into the ring with that. I mean, Sam, for someone who is, you know, the lead of the biggest movies in movie history, could not have been cooler. Just great guy. We chatted about our families and our kids. He was great. I loved working with him. Simu, I totally geeked out talking to him. Like, I asked him, my first question was, how did you shoot the bus scene in Shang-Chi?
Oh, yes.
It's so sick. And, you know, he walked me through that, which was awesome. We geeked out on video games. We're both total nerds, and chatted about, you know, Diablo and different computer games we play. And then Jordana, I grew up watching all the Fast and Furious movies, and I remember seeing first Fast and Furious in theaters. So it was wicked. It was great to work with all 3 of them. They could not have been any cooler or any nicer or any more down to earth. I don't have a ton of funny stories because time costs so much money on movies that, like, it's funny. One of the most common questions you get is like, who pulls the most pranks? And it's like, you cannot pull pranks on sets, because every hour costs, like, if it's a really expensive day, an hour might cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. And if you screwed it up because of a
you're fired.
Shaving cream prank or something, you're done. But they were all awesome.
Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw that Simu Liu was attached to it, I couldn't stop saying Simulant for the movie. Like, is it because the Simu Liu is inside of it? That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. But what are you most excited about for people to partake from watching a film like this?
One of the things that stood out for me with this is that it's subjective, and people will argue about it. And I think people should argue about it, because there's no right or wrong answer. It's a movie that lives in gray. And I think that makes interesting storytelling. And, you know, April and I didn't agree on whether or not we would have a simulant. And, you know, with the world we live in and where everything's going with AI, it feels like this probably isn't that far away, which is a little scary, but also maybe hopeful if you look at it a different way. I don't know yet. I guess we'll see how that pans out. But with some of the leaders in the field saying that we should step back from AI, maybe we should. I just defer to smarter brains.
Gotcha. I think right now with AI, it's like we're being cautiously optimistic, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Well, it's been such a pleasure to speak with you, and I'm so excited for the world to see Simulant. It's so nice. Simulant, yes. It was so nice talking to you, Robbie. Thank you so much for your time.
You too. Thanks, Nikki.